Welcome to this Athletic Director U special interview with Blake James, the Athletic Director here at the University of Miami. I'm Jim Cavale, the founder and CEO of INFLCR. And Blake, first off, thanks for making some time to be here.
Oh, welcome to Coral Gables. It's great to be here with you and look forward to our talk today.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think the best place to start is something that a lot of people are probably curious about when it comes to Blake James, because you have to factor in the role that it takes to be the man at the helm, leading the Miami Athletic Department, but also you have leadership roles within the NCAA structure. And I just want to talk to you about what it takes to balance those two leadership roles that are so integral to college sports as a whole and this university.
Well, I'm honored to have the opportunity to serve as chair of the Division I Council. I've been on the council now to be 4 years, and the last 2 as chair. I think really the key to my success with it is really a great staff. From my leadership team here at the university, which has really made it possible for me to have the time commitment that I felt was needed for the NCAA role, to just the great staff at the NCAA in Indianapolis and everything that they do to provide me with the information and the support I need to be able to serve in that role to the level that we need as an association. So again, I really need to give credit to the people around me. I think any great leader knows you're only as good as the team that you have supporting you, and I'm blessed in that we have a great team here in Coral Gables, and there's a great group in Indianapolis that helps bring everything together.
So is it hard for you to balance the priority of promoting the U, the brand of the U, but at the same time staying objective in certain situations because you're working beyond just this university with the NCAA?
Again, I think my first job is the University of Miami, and so everything I do is always going to be with what's best for the University of Miami. As the ACC representative on the council, obviously I bring the perspective of what the conference feels is best for the conference, us being a member of the conference, but not always voting the way we vote as a conference. And so in that role, I vote as the ACC representative. And then I think to where your question's going is then them playing that balance, knowing that as Miami or as an ACC, we may have a very strong opinion, but as the chair, being able to balance that opinion and really letting everyone have their voice and their approach and thoughts on the topic that we're discussing that day. And so I hope the council members would say that over my time as chair, I've really been someone who's supported debate and conversation in every issue that's there. Obviously, I've taken my position that is required as our representative of the ACC, but again, just really promoted a good conversation and good discussion. And I think in most cases, and in probably every case, we ended up in a better spot for the student-athlete experience and for what we needed to move forward as the collegiate model.
So as a guy that's traveling a lot with this council role, but also as the athletic director, you're going to be traveling a lot. How do you communicate with your leadership staff back here to be able to know what's going on, that the things that you guys have set here as objectives and priorities are having progress?
Cell phones. Again, whether it's text messages, emails, again, most flights nowadays have Wi-Fi on them, and so you're able to remain in contact even while you're in the air. And so with all my travel, being able to communicate with our leadership team here is something that is I'm doing on a regular basis. And so again, going back to my previous comments on how I've done it, it's having a great leadership team, being in regular communication with them, and at the same time trusting them in the decisions that they make in the conversations we've had as to what we need to accomplish as a program.
Have you structured the team where there's one point person that's here that is running the ship, so to speak, while you're there? Is it more of just departmentalization based on the topic?
I would say that really I have 2 individuals. Jason Layton, I would say, covers one half of the department, and Jen Strawley covers the other half of the department. So depending on what the issue is, I'll say oversimplifying it, and hopefully neither one of them would take offense to this. I think Jason has everything to do with revenue, and Jen really has everything to do with the student-athlete experience. And so depending on what the issue is, I would say for the most part, my conversations in most cases happen with one of those two, and usually in either one of those, I guess, how I identify which bucket it falls into.
All right, so I want to switch from leadership to topics that we love to talk about at Influencer, which is more of branding, social media, new media, digital. And first off, we know that this university has an audience of more than 3 million people between its team accounts, coach accounts, and player accounts alone. And just talk about the org chart here and how you're investing to make sure that you're producing content to tell your own story, not depend on just the media, so to speak, traditionally, but be a media company yourself and tell your own story on social.
Well, first I want to say thank you to what you bring to organizations like ours and being able to capitalize on this opportunity. Obviously, as you know, we're a client of Influencer, and as an organization, I guess I will say I've been a believer that we have to support technology, and so my message has always been do whatever we need to do, and my staff will confirm I'm probably lagging the furthest behind most of our team here in terms of what we do, but I recognize how important it is to getting our message out there, further strengthening our brand, and doing all the things we need to do to make sure we not only stay relevant, but that we're viewed as a market leader. And so again, it's, I guess I'll say from my position, giving support to the new ideas, giving support to whatever it is we need to do to best position the University of Miami to be on that cutting edge, to be viewed by, I'll say young people, but really anyone who's embracing technology to the highest level, that wherever they go, the University of Miami is there. And again, I'm sure if you had some of our staff here that could talk in much greater detail, what I can tell you, my message to them has been is let's do whatever we need to do as an organization. Let's invest in those areas that we need to make sure we're out on the forefront of what's happening in the social, I'm not going to say social media world, really in the technology and media world.
So the roles inside an athletic department's media members, so sports information directors and beyond, has changed dramatically. You would agree in the last 10 years
again,
alone, right?
When you look at it and you say it used to be sports information directors, that's not the role they play
right.
at all anymore. And again, where they're creating our message, they're getting our message out there. They are what our fan base is turning to and looking for in terms of having the touch that we need to have with everyone who has any interest in the university. Because again, you look at even prospective student athletes. What are they seeing when they look at the University of Miami, and beyond prospective student athletes, prospective students. A lot of students are coming to the U because of the excitement and the energy that our athletic program brings, and their first touch in many cases will be what our communications staff is putting out there through whatever platform it is that we're operating with.
Yeah, there's a guy in college sports once told me, college athletics is the front porch to the university, but social media has become the front porch to college athletics.
I think it's a great analogy, and I've used the college athletics as the front porch to the university. I would agree with that, carrying it on to the next level, that social media is the front porch to college athletics.
So the SID used to scramble after the game to get a release onto the website. You remember those days?
Yep. Oh yeah.
And it's gone from that to having to have pictures and videos and tweets and social media posts, and there needs to be a team in place to support that. One person can't handle all those hats, right? So with that, there's roles just in the last 5 years that I know are new here at the university to try to produce that content, help be your own media company, as I've said a few times. Was that a conscious thing that you just decided 1 year specifically? Has that just evolved over time? Because there's several new roles that you didn't have here that the gentleman behind this camera right now participate in.
Right, and again, I guess what I would go back to, Jim, is, and going back to when I first hired Jason, the first thing when I hired Jason, I think we'd produced three games in the previous year for ESPN Plus, I believe it was, or ESPN 3, actually. And when I first met with him, I talked to him about the importance of really growing not only that area, but everything that we do in terms of technology and video content. And again, having 2 young kids at the time who are now, one's a freshman in college and one's a sophomore in high school, but they were kids who lived on their phone and were looking at videos and Instagram and everything. And as I'll say, as an older person, I was still in the Facebook and Twitter mode. I hadn't got into Snapchat or Instagram, and I'm sure there's many more beyond that now that the kids operate on. And what I know is that our people have identified the platforms we feel are best for us to getting our message out there. And through that, I've been given the education of, okay, if you want to do all this, then here's what we need to put in place to make this happen to the level you want it executed at. And so that's where that growth has come, is through time, just having them educate me on what's needed to accomplish the goal that I've given them. And so that's how that support's come. I think they would probably all agree we could probably continue to expand more, but it's like anything in any business. You have a certain amount of budget, and you have to make tough decisions every year in terms of what you put your dollars in. But this is an area that we've invested in significantly over the last few years, and one that we'll continue to invest in, because it's the way you're communicating with your fan base. Again, whatever method that is, whether it's on Facebook, through the website, through video production, through whatever the latest and greatest is, hopefully we're positioning the University of Miami in a light that has people feeling great about everything we have going on here, because that's what the reality is. There's so many great stories, not only in athletics, but at this university.
Well, I think one thing that I would take from what you've said throughout, but especially just now, that all leaders need to hear in athletics and out of athletics, is you decided what you wanted to accomplish, but you didn't just stop there. You had to figure out how you were going to be able to get there. And so just asking one person, hey, adapt and do your role like School X is doing, our rival, that's not enough. You have to provide the resources, and you've been conscious about investing them.
Yeah, no, we've really tried, and I think if you look at our program, there's probably programs in the ACC that have invested more and maybe have more bodies or whatever it is, and so I credit the team that we have in place, because I think they do an outstanding job of really positioning the University of Miami in the best light, and then we'll continue to grow and we'll keep investing in that area, because it's something you have to do. Again, it's not a choice. It's something that you're either going to be a part of it or you're going to be left far behind. And for me, it's important that we're out in the forefront and that we're doing whatever we can to make sure that we keep putting the University of Miami in the light that keeps it the superstar brand that it is worldwide.
So let's talk about your social media philosophy, because I know that you say you're not as technical, but I think that you're above average on Twitter. You tweet frequently, you tweet at relevant times. Loved watching you congratulate a former coach on his new role as a broadcaster the other day, and at the same time, love watching you handle coaching transitions the way you did during the 2018-19 transition with football. How calculated are you with your philosophy personally with how you tweet?
I guess I'd like to say I'm more calculated than I am. I think I usually try to look at it as if I'm a fan, what do I need? Do I need to be hearing something right now from the athletic director? And so, I think we have a great staff. It's a situation where you look the night of our bowl game loss, I put out a message, and there was a number of people that I talked with before I put that out, and it's I'm on our communication staff, and then kind of reviewed what I wanted to accomplish and make sure that it was being put out in the right format, because I'm not always quick on exactly how I need to do what I want to accomplish. And so again, it's relying on the team that we have in place to make sure I'm able to present it in the way that I feel is going to give the right message. And so I don't have a calendar laid out of, well, I need to do this on this date. But as decisions are made, I try to make sure that if it's something that I feel needs to come from the athletic director or is going to be stronger coming from the athletic director, that I'm doing that, recognizing at the same time, we have a great team that is making sure messages get out, and sometimes they're getting messages out from me. And so I would say it's just through coordinated communication versus a real calculated structure that we decide. And again, sometimes it's them giving me the idea of, hey, you need to say something here, or hey, we need you to tweet this out, or again, along those lines, that those types of things happen.
Student-athlete likeness. Some campuses or teams bar their student-athletes from using social. I mean, even inside of the ACC, there's teams who, they just turn it off for the season. Others are very proactive. It's less about the don'ts and the horror stories. It's more about the do's and how to leverage this platform as a weapon of mass production instead of worrying it's a weapon of mass destruction. I feel like you've been, not just you as a leader for the athletic department, but your team has been real proactive in empowering student athletes. Talk about student athletes and how their social medias represent Miami.
Well, one of the things I say to our student athletes, and whether it's when they're first coming in as freshmen or when I'm meeting with them as a team, by coming to the university, they signed up with one of the strongest brands in the country. They can now further strengthen their brand through the association with our brand, or they can do damage to their brand through the association with our brand. And it's a situation where they hopefully are making the choices that are going to further strengthen their brand and our brand. And so I go with the idea that it's going to happen. And to prepare them for life, hopefully we're giving them real life lessons, and we're giving them a great education on the things that they can do to put themselves in the best position. Because reality is, the things they say now are going to be with them for the rest of their life. And we all know that. We see it play out all the time. And I'll say hopefully we're giving them the right message and the right education that they put themselves in the best position. With that said, they're young people, and I understand how some schools may take the approach of, hey, we're not going to let you even have that opportunity. I don't believe that's the right approach, but that's just my opinion. I think you embrace reality and the fact that this is something that they're going to deal with for the rest of their life. And so let's have them prepared to be on that national or worldwide stage, I should say, and be able to grow and learn from that experience, and hopefully leave here with a better understanding and better prepared for whatever it is they're going to do in life.
I love it. Yeah, you're preaching what we talk about all the time at Influencer. I think that embracing something like social media, knowing it's inevitable, it's reality, is a great point you made there. So I'll just end with the U as a brand. It's such a strong brand. It's iconic, right? There's been multiple ESPN 30 for 30s about the U. The U itself says something without even having to say the name of the university or the mascot, right? How much does social media and new medias play a part in negotiating partnerships for your brand, whether it's an apparel partner like Adidas or other partners that are involved? Because traditional sponsorship inventories like signage, radio, TV, they're always going to be something that are tracked and will mean something to a sponsor. But it seems like as social media evolves, the numbers and the direct reach become stronger and stronger.
I think with each year, it carries more and more, it's more and more of an impact, and it carries more weight with sponsors. Again, you just look at something like ticket sales, and I don't remember what our numbers are right now, but we significantly increase each year with the number of people renewing their tickets online versus giving a call, sending in something through the mail, whatever it is. And so the wave is going this way. And so for us, again, going back to my approach to this is we need to be out on the forefront. We need to be investing in whatever technology our staff feels is the right area to be involved with to further strengthen the brand of the university and the U. And so for me, again, that's just something that we have to continue to do, and we have to look at where it's going and how do we best position the U for that.
I appreciate you making time once again, especially with not only being the AD, but being in these roles NCAA wide, and you shared so much value for the athletic director community. So thanks again. I appreciate it,
Hey,
Blake.
great to be with you, Jim. Thank you.